Good morning and welcome. My name's Kat. And again, those of you just coming in, make sure you've got a bolster, blanket, and block. And if you need extra of anything, grab those. Is anybody pregnant? Okay. And any injuries past surgeries? Yes. Knee. Can you put pressure on it? Okay. Okay. So it's more the bending. Okay, cool. So hopefully I will remember this and I'll give you alternatives. But if I forget, I love giving alternatives, so let me know. You might want to get the little orange cushion because you can fold that up and stick it behind your knee, and that will take some of the pressure off. Anybody else? Yeah? Shoulder. What's happened to it? Okay. So definitely we'll want to prop it a little bit more. And okay, cool. Anybody else? Does anyone have any herniated discs? Okay. Any sciatica? Okay. Anything else that I haven't mentioned? Okay. And the reason why is that, is this anyone's first yin yoga practice? Okay, cool. Welcome. In a more traditional yin practice, we're holding poses for 3 to 5 to 7 minutes. They've actually done studies where holding a pose for up to 20 minutes. 20 minutes is actually the optimum holding. We won't be doing that today. But the idea is that with these restorative poses, sometimes with a little bit of propping, but not too much. We are interested in a little bit of an edge. That's when it starts to both stimulate the meridians in the body as well as start to tug on the fascia, which in theory is fantastic. But if you have some sort of injury, all of us have different things going on in our bodies, you might have to work it a little differently. So do call me over if suddenly something comes up and you're not sure how to support it. Are there any questions or anything else you need to know before we begin? All right, lay down on your backs. And if your neck needs support, you can place your orange cushion or blanket there. Take your glasses off. Move your ponytails out to the side. And just feeling whether legs straight or knees bent is more helpful. Whether palms up or palms down feels better. And whether you need your hands on your body anywhere. And as you close your eyes, feeling your body right on the floor. Noticing all the points where your body touches the ground. And even noticing the sounds around you, having an equal awareness between water and birds and occasional drilling and construction. As everything that's here, both inside and around you, is part of your nowness. Even feeling how you can widen your space around your body. so that there's more of a spaciousness. For all that is here to be here. And as you draw yourself inside your body, start to pay attention to your breath, noticing your inhale, noticing your exhale, you might find it helpful to count your breath so that you can start to balance, even out your inhale and exhale. And as you do this, what I'd actually like you to do is to focus on your breath starting at your tailbone, and to, on inhale, move your breath from tailbone all the way up your spine, all the way through to where your neck meets your brain. And as you exhale, moving the breath back down from where your brain is, all the way down each vertebra of your spine to your tailbone. And you'll observe that there will be parts of your spine that are easy to feel or see, and other parts that you kind of skip over or they're blank. And you may want to pause in those places where you skip or are blank to draw your attention connection there. And you might find that as you navigate, it might be easier to connect as if you're right in the very center of your spinal cord where fluid is. Or if you're kind of riding in front of your spine. Just a few more rounds. Feeling how you're relaxing. And even noticing deeper currents inside of you might start to emerge. which will manifest as sensations or emotions or even thought patterns. And there's nothing to do. Except to feel. And just widen your breath through your whole body. And there may be areas that are calling your attention. And just noticing and breathing. And if you wish to just rest here longer, do so. Otherwise, keeping your eyes closed, bend both of your knees. Relax your jaw. And just draw your knees into your chest and just lightly wrap your arms around your legs. Relaxing your feet and ankles. Breathing through the back of your body. And yawn. I encourage those yawns as that's your nervous system settling down. And for our first pose, we're coming into Happy Baby. And so for this, take your knees wider and take your hands, bring your feet up in line with your knees. And you can either just hold on to the insides of your thighs, that's a little bit softer, or you could grab onto your ankles or feet. And so you'll just nudge your feet up towards your chest more. But what we're most interested in is the opening, the stimulation in the inner thighs, so that we're getting a little bit into the liver and kidney meridians. And because we'll be here for a little bit, you want to find initially a softer edge, because you'll start to feel it as we stay. If you need extra padding, you can place your blanket or cushion there. If you want me to grab you any props, an extra mat, let me know. And just start by breathing down into your pelvis. So breathing into your pelvic floor. Breathing into your inner thighs. Tailbone. Buttocks. And for some of you, you may find this an easy invitation to feel and relax. And for some of you, you may find that there's a bit of an edge. And as long as the edge is healthy and palatable, you get to stay with your edge, feeling, and breathe. We're just here a little bit longer. It is helpful to exhale through your mouth and to even get your exhale. What is it like to exhale all the way out? So taking the longest exhale that you can. And feeling how when you really exhale, out to your edge. You might even feel a tiny activation of pelvic floor and low belly. Observing your jaw. Letting your mouth hang open a little bit. Almost like you could drool. There's a really interesting relationship between the pelvis, the jaw, and then this, it's like a prehistoric butterfly-shaped bone that's located right behind our forehead. Which is connected both to our vision, our actual vision, as well as our inner vision. It milks the pineal. It's also connected to our pituitary, so that influences our endocrine system, our hormones. And can be really influenced by the quality of thoughts that we have, whether we repress or we allow. So for the last 5 breaths here, take an inhale from your pelvis and draw that breath all the way up into your brain, like right into your third eye, which you could visualize that as a little bit above your eyebrows. On the center point of your forehead. All of us have a different location for where it is, so I'm giving you a rough area. And take your exhale back from your third eye down to your pelvis so that you're grounding everything back down, drawing your belly back to spine. After your next exhale, for those of you who'd like to come out of this, some of you can stay longer, draw your knees into your chest. And then just straighten your legs out onto the ground. And as you straighten your legs onto the ground, if you'd like to continue the inner thigh activation, you can come into Supta Baddha Konasana, soles of feet together, knees out. Propping your knees any way you need to. And again, if you need extra props, let me know. And for some of you, you might want to put your hand on your pelvis, on your pubic bone. And if you found it helpful, continue to draw the connection from your pelvis all the way up to your third eye on inhale. And on exhale, choosing to ground all that energy from third eye back down to pelvis. And just as before, when we were breathing up the spine, if you notice that there are places where you space out, areas that feel stagnant or blocked. Those may be spaces where you want to spend some extra attention. listening to the feedback that your body gives you. All of our bodies speak to us in different ways, offering imagery and different kinds of sensations, different kinds of sensing. After your next exhale, drawing the energy from your third eye back downwards to pelvis, just for a moment, have your attention on your whole body, noticing if you include your whole body in this or if there are parts of your body you leave out, and call those in. But also just taking a moment to call yourself back inside your body. So oftentimes we'll have parts of us still in dream time with lovers, family members, in past stories or future. We'll have given our heart away, our power away. We may be holding other people's hearts and power pieces. So just taking 3 breaths, just calling yourself back in. And you may know those parts of you you're calling back. You may not know. But energy does follow intention. And just allow. So usually we're in the right place when we're a little surprised, when we don't really know. At least our mind doesn't know. And you might feel how your body is recalibrating as you do this. If you find this useful, then you can continue to lay here and do this. You also will have other opportunities and other poses to do this. If your system is ready, moving slowly, in your next few breaths, just draw your knees into your chest again. And roll over to your right hand side. And just pause here for a moment. You can make a pillow with your hands. And take a breath in your middle back area. And just feel that. And then using your hands, press yourself all the way up to sitting, facing towards the front. And you may want to take your blanket and unfold it so that you have your entire width of your mat covered, as we're going to move into some dragons. And have your mat, your blanket back enough so that if you came onto your hands and knees, your blanket's more towards the back half of your mat. I do have modifications if you're knee sensitive. On your next breath, take your left leg forward. Slide your right knee back enough so that you're in front of the knee, like more towards the thigh, as opposed to on top of your kneecap. And for some of you, you might find it helpful to put a block underneath each hand. For some of you, you might want to just rest your forearms on top of your thigh. What you're feeling is the front of your right thigh getting stimulated. So with your mind and breath, breathe down into right thigh. Using your inhale to touch down into right thigh, which could include your pelvis. And get your exhale a little bit longer than your inhale. Do you want to? What'd you say? I don't know, like that. Yeah. And as you get your exhale, even longer, feeling how it's very subtle, but there's that lifting of your pelvic floor. And what I mean by pelvic floor is your perineum, so that space of skin right in front of your anus, your urinary tract and genitals. So men, obviously that's the same muscle for you. It is helpful in these dragons to exhale through the mouth. And especially if you know that you are one who holds tension in your jaw, open your mouth wide. And you could even stick your tongue towards your chin to encourage a little bit more opening. Just a little bit longer. This is one that can be a little bit more edgy if you haven't noticed. And keeping your attention fully with yourself. So it's easy to, especially when it gets intense or we're bored, we tend to just look around. So draw yourself back to you. Soften your eyes. Two more breaths. And on your next inhale, begin to straighten your left leg and just slide that left leg more straight. And you could even just lightly flex the foot just so that you're feeling a stimulation through the back of your leg. And you can either rest your hands on fingertips, palms flat. You could be on blocks. And if this just feels like too much, if it's too much pressure on your knee, you could just take both of your legs out in front of you and sit. And just take 2 breaths through the back of your leg. Relaxing your shoulders. And keeping your breath long. And we're going to be here a little bit longer than 2 breaths. Even just noticing the relationship of your left thigh to pelvis. And take 2 breaths right in that juncture where your femur meets your pelvis. So right where that left thigh meets your pelvis, like you're breathing from the inside. And you can even include the back of your pelvis. So in essence, like your left buttock. And then bending your front knee, you can just slide your front leg back to tabletop, hands and knees. Some of you may want to pause, take your knees wide, come into child's pose. If you can keep your mindfulness, you can come into downward facing dog, or you can sit with your legs out in front of you. We're only here for a little bit, just simply digesting. Keeping your eyes closed or soft. Noticing. Breathing. If you're in child's pose, if you're sitting with your legs in front of you, come back to hands and knees. And sliding now your right leg in front, left leg back. And you may need different kinds of props for your hands. You can rest your forearms on your thigh. An easefulness in your shoulders. And if you find that your front heel is off the ground, you may want to nudge that foot forward a little bit. And just finding that medium edge in your left thigh. And breathing down into left thigh. And what's really wonderful about the yin practice is that there's nothing that we have to do or achieve or perfect here. You're just being with yourself in the shape of the pose. So simply feeling what's here. And then using your breath to be with it. So even taking out agenda, even though by breathing specifically in a certain body part, there's a little bit of an agenda. But it's a soft one because you don't know what's going to happen. And noticing if your mind and eyes are dancing around, and just softly call yourself back to your center. And yeah, opening your mouth, exhaling, sticking that tongue to your chin can be really nice. So there's a reason why we call this pose dragons. It's because it's a little fiery. And if you notice that you're doing things to stay away, let yourself drop back in. So keep breathing and let yourself feel. And just a little bit longer. Bend this knee a little more. Okay, now take 3 breaths here. And so where you're feeling this the most, we're only here for a few more breaths. What is it like to put your mind right into that area, which is probably that thigh, and then to breathe there? And I know we don't have lungs in our left thigh, but wherever you put your mind, you will start to get an increase of flow. Take one more breath right down into your left thigh. And if you can't get into your thigh, at least breathe down into your tailbone, down into your pelvis. What is that like? Good, and then just bringing your hands down to the ground. Good job. Straighten your right leg out in front of you. And breathe through your front leg. So they actually did tests to see whether putting your mind in an area where there weren't lungs would actually change anything. And they found that it increased the red blood cells, which is where we contain oxygen, carry oxygen. And there's actually like a list of 30 other things that happened, but I forgot what it is. But you can feel the difference. And take one more breath. And this time, just bending your front knee in your own elegant way. Make your way to sitting with your legs in front of you. And we'll just relax for a moment. So take your arms by your sides. Let your feet turn out. Just close your eyes. And just relax. And stay with your breath. So you have two options for your next pose. First of all, we're coming into Caterpillar, also known as Paschimottanasana, forward fold. Just pull the flesh away from your buttocks so that you're sitting a little in front of your sit bones. Now, if you look up here for a moment, watch my pelvis. If when you sit, your pelvis is tilted forward a little bit, then you'll definitely want to sit on the edge of a blanket, maybe even a bolster. So sit on the edge of that. And then all you're going to do is come forward. And for some of you, just hanging forward like this is enough. You might want to take a block and put it underneath your head or a bolster. Or you may even want your bolster and to hang out like this. For some backs, sitting like this really does nothing. It's kind of like, all right, I'm folding forward and nothing's really happening. What can be much more helpful is laying on your back and taking your legs up and just holding your legs. And you can still prop your hips up with a little bit of a blanket if you want to. So one isn't better than the other. What's best for your spine? And where do you start to feel the stimulation through the back of your legs? So coming into your pose. And if you're on your back, feel free to just lightly hold on to the back of your thighs. And for some bodies, you might find it helpful to use a strap around your legs. So if you need a strap, let me know. All of us need different things, so don't worry about copying anyone. There's not one perfect way to do this. You just want to find a place where you can access what's needed. Do you want this? Yeah. And my friends on your back, if you need a little bit of support for your neck or head, you can do that as well. You can put a blanket there. As you relax your face, do you want a strap? Welcome. Noticing how the flavor of caterpillar is different from dragons. And what's beautiful about the yin practice is that it really inspires us to connect to the power of doing nothing, or at least very little. So that through these long holds and stillness, and yes, in stillness sometimes we move a little bit as we settle, and sometimes we're feeling quite a lot inside, so we don't feel so still. But through these long holds and stillness, we start to sense the undercurrent of power that is moving everything all the time, which is happening even when we do very little effort. And all of us have been trained to be successful in doing. And if you have a yang practice, which basically means anything that's not yin, you know how to bring yourself further, how to manipulate, how to transform. And sometimes we can forget the power of transformation that's actually always happening, whether we know it or not and like it or not. So for the last few breaths here, if you are efforting in any way, take that out and just breathe and feel. If you're noticing any part of your body that's pushing or tightening or fighting or contracting, find a way where it's a little bit softer so those parts of you aren't happening, aren't engaging. And your next few breaths, releasing your straps, drawing your belly in if you folded forward, and roll yourself up, and we'll just all meet lying on our backs. And just make sure that you're comfortable as you lie here. So if you have any props in the way, move them out. And simply feel as you rest. Allowing your skull bones to relax. Your forehead to relax. Your cheekbones to relax. The back of your neck, relaxing. And the point between your eyebrows, relaxing. Attention on your whole body. All of the sensations, the current that goes upwards and downwards. And just letting go. Taking 2 more breaths. And if you'd like to rest here a little bit longer, you can. In your next few breaths, just place your arms by your side. We're going to stay on our backs. And just bend both of your knees, set your feet on the floor. And coming into a pose called threading the needle. So cross your right ankle over your left thigh. Now, just noticing, have your left foot in line with your left sit bone. And for some of you, just crossing right ankle over left thigh will actually give you enough of a stimulation in your right thigh. And just draw your right hip a little bit away from you so that both sides of your pelvis are even, and really feel where the back of your pelvis touches the ground. Is it even? Now, if you want to amp it up a little bit, you could place 1 or 2 blocks underneath your left foot, so the foot that's on the ground. And even if you're really flexible, it is interesting to start out on the subtler edges just to see if there's something there, because there's always something everywhere. And now just notice as you put your foot on your block or two, has your pelvis totally wonked out, and just keep your pelvis stable. And this could be enough as you breathe, if you're just feeling enough in your thigh. If you want to just go a little bit more, and this is not better or worse, you just got to feel where you get that stimulation. You could take your hands around your left thigh and pick your left foot up off the blocks and notice what you feel there. And for some of you, you may want to grab onto shin. Some of you may want to use a strap. So just choosing the edge that's interesting. You want to keep your head on the ground. And if that doesn't easily happen, you could put some sort of support, like a blanket, underneath your head. Keep your left foot and ankle and knee really relaxed. My friends that are a little knee sensitive, you will want to flex your right foot. And this will be a matter of preference for all of you, whether or not you want to activate that right foot. And as you breathe down into your pelvis again, breathing down into your right buttock, this is another place where opening the mouth as you exhale. Having your exhale longer than your inhale. And really softening your neck. Muscles in your neck, your shoulders. Your forehead. And your jaw. Can I put my hands on you? Yeah. Okay. It's really helpful to on your inhale, guide all of your mental energy, your brain energy, down into your pelvis. And then as you exhale, just hugging your belly back to your spine, like you're just grounding all of your energy back down. And you can focus on that place where your belly, right between your belly and pubic bone, so that when you inhale, you're taking all your mental energy down to that space right between your belly and pubic bone. And then as you exhale, you're just hugging that space in more. So you're just choosing to ground and center. And just a few more breaths here. After your next exhale, you can just uncross your leg, take your hands off, take the blocks out, and just straighten your legs out, or have your knees, feet wide, knees in. And just pause here for a moment. And you can place your hands by your sides or on your body, and just relax, noticing sensation. And really allowing your system to relax. And you might even find that you drift a little bit into that space of dream time. And in conscious dream time, that's the space where the body begins to heal and realign itself. Taking 2 more breaths. And if you would like to rest here longer, you can. Do make note of which side you just had your ankle crossed over. And then on your next breath, take your knees into your chest. We're going to do something else first. And take your arms out shoulder height. And if you have straps in the way, move them out. And take both of your knees over to the left onto the ground. You might want a prop underneath your knees. You may not. So if you don't want the props there, make sure they're not there. There's plenty of space for all of us to not feel so crammed. And you can either just have your arms straight out, palms up or palms down. Feel that difference. You could bend both of your elbows so that you're more making a cactus or a goalpost position. And also just noticing what's best for your neck. Is it turning it to the left, to your right, or having it straight? As you relax your face, as you relax the muscles in your eyes. Breathe through your heart. Breathe through the front of your heart. The back of your heart. On the sides of your heart. Breathing right into your shoulders. Allowing yourself to let go. As you draw your belly in, moving your legs one by one, bring right leg to center and left leg. And just set your feet on the floor and take a breath through your whole body. And cross your other thigh over your ankle. For most of us, it's the left. Some of you have already done your left side, so you'll do your right side. Make sure you're not repeating yourself. And as you have your right foot on the floor in front of your right sit bone, just noticing how this feels. Noticing if you could relax your pelvis down more and move your tailbone away from you so your low back curvature is a little bit more pronounced. And as you breathe down into your pelvis, this could be enough. Just stay there for a second. If you'd like to slide a block or two underneath your foot, you can. Or you can grab onto your thigh. I'm just going to lift it up a little bit. There we go. Just letting your mouth hang open. Letting your eyes soften. We've been so directive with our breath so far. There's a deeper, sweeter practice of just being with yourself. All the pieces that are here, nothing to change or fix or analyze. Relaxing even more down. Let yourself feel. Let yourself relax. Just a little bit longer. Very slowly uncross your leg. Take your hands off your thighs, slide your blocks to the side, and straighten your legs out. Just taking a moment to rest. Breathing through the back of your body. Noticing both sides of your body. Right side, left side, front side, back side, whole body. And draw your knees into your chest. Moving into our twist, if you're ready. And take your arms out shoulder height. And just let both of your knees drop to your right. Propping your knees if you need to. Palms up or down. And for some of you, breathing in your middle back and solar plexus, connecting that, so breathing from the front of your solar plexus all the way to the back, like your middle back area. And for most of us, we're more comfortable or habituated breathing in the front, so getting that breath more in the back. That will activate that chakra point as well. And once you really feel a clarity of connection, for some of you might be a little bit of blockages or disconnect, so it's interesting and helpful just to stay there, breathing in your middle back. But then starting to, once you have that connection, whether it's now or in a little bit, starting to connect that up to your throat. So of course you're going to pass through your heart. And you might find that there's some interesting little things hanging out in your throat. And so you'll be seeing that, sensing that, feeling that. Going with that first hit before you start thinking about it. And so that you're starting to clarify your throat. But our intention is forging a connection between our throat and power center. Our place of personal power, self-worth, and divine will. Self-esteem, self-honesty, believing in oneself, and then having the courage to actually articulate that to others, to the world, to commit. Just taking a few more breaths. Slowly, this time roll all the way over to your right. So just take your left arm and chest all the way over to your right. So you're rolling, you're already halfway on your right, so you roll all the way to your right. And just take a breath in the back of your heart. And using your left hand, press yourself up to sitting. Slowly. So our final pose, you have two options, is Dragonfly, straddle, taking your legs wide, and just starting to come, actually just sitting like this could be enough, or you can start to come forward and come down on your bolster or no bolster. You can lay on your back, that's also another option, or butterfly, Baddha Konasana, bringing soles of feet together and folding forward. And this is another one of those instances where if when you sit, your pelvis tilts forward, you'll pull the flesh from your buttocks, but definitely sit on the edge of something. And if you are already using a bolster and discover you'd like one or two more, I am the bolster fairy, so let me know. I'll bring you some bolsters. And as you get yourself into your position, one thing that distinguishes yin from a restorative practice is that we do use the props to help us out, especially if structurally there's already a little bit of need for support or stagnation. But you don't want to get so propped that you feel nothing. And if you're looking around, eyes do transmit energy. So I invite you to soften your eyes and draw your attention back to your own midline, to your own center, to whatever your experience is. Yin is a much more internal practice. And for all of us, when we start to feel things, or when the mind wanders, or when we get bored, or when we decide we don't like something, because those are all normal functionings of the mind, we start to leave our center. And so part of the yin practice is a practice in focusing, shamatha, in practicing drawing ourselves back to center, using our breath and sensations and even any sound around us as a way to come back to here. Just a few more breaths. If you'd like to stay here a little longer, you're welcome to. Otherwise, with your eyes closed, drawing belly in to support back, roll yourself up and place your props to the side and just nudge your legs closer together and make your way onto your back. And you're welcome to stay in Dragonfly a little longer if you need to. Once you lay on your back, we are moving into Savasana. So if you want to place anything underneath you, And this is your time. This is your time to rest. And placing your hands anywhere on your body that you need. Allowing your breath to be automatic. Your whole system relaxing. Your whole body relaxing. Letting go. Begin deepening your breath. Start to move your fingers and toes. Stretch your arms over your head. Stretch your legs to the front. And draw your knees to your chest. And roll to your right. And take a breath through your heart. And closing eyes, come up to sitting on the ground or on a bolster or block. And feeling the uprightness of your spine, breathing. And bring your hands together in prayer in front of your heart. Namaste. Enjoy your day.